Hi, I'm Brady, and I lead men's groups. This is a quick video about how to make a 10-minute presentation on pretty much anything. It's a little bit slanted towards men making a presentation in men's group, but it pretty much covers any kind of 10-minute presentation you could be doing anywhere. So I hope it helps. All right, so we have a Ronin 10 talk about how to do Ronin 10 talks, a Brady production by Brady's production company, not a real company. We apologize in advance for absolutely nothing, and that is 100% true, and we stand by it. So on the agenda today are all of the different aspects about this 10 talk. Part 1 is open with impact, talking about the hook and setting the goal. Part 2, why 10-minute talks are powerful. Short examples demand clarity, and we'll be getting some info about examples and focus. What makes up a 10-minute 10 talk? Well, besides the 10 minutes, you need an intro, a body, and a conclusion. The different types of talks that you can do in a 10-minute 10 talk, they all differ by purpose. So the purpose of your talk tends to dictate what kind of form it'll take. Part 5 is about making it memorable. Be concise, tell stories, repeat it, and practice. 6 has delivery tips. You'll need energy, you'll need pauses, you'll need engagement, and you'll need presence. Part 7 is closing with power, recap, have a call to action, and a memorable ending. This is part 1. Make an impact. Like this. Not like this. We want big impact here. So to make an impact, you've got to do something. You have to have an opening statement. You got to make it good, and you got to make it not good. Use proper grammar, spelling, punctuation, all that stuff. You'll be helping yourself in the long run and your listeners. A hook, you got to hook the guys in. You got to gather interest. You have to have a bold statement, a question, or a joke. You might have noticed I'm trying to use the humorous route. I hope it's sinking in. If not, I'll use dad humor, and that is a threat. Set the goal. For example, today I'm going to ... Your listener knows what to listen for. By the end of this talk, you will ... The listener knows what they're going to be able to do that they couldn't at the beginning. And a note is that everything in your talk is going to be serving this goal. So it's kind of like your North Star the whole way through. Part 2, why 10-minute 10 talks are powerful. If you've got a 1-minute talk, the guy's basically talking to a wall, and 1 minute later, everyone listening has no memory. It was too short, flash in the pan. There wasn't really enough time for anything to land. By the time the hook is over and they're done reacting to it, the whole thing's already done and they don't really retain the message. So you don't want to do that. A 10-minute 10 talk, you want to use shock and awesome. That's the sweet spot for human attention spans. You have unlimited power when you can constrain yourself to that 10-minute format. And if you go even 1 second over the 10 minutes, your audience is going to be growing beards, growing long hair from a fresh buzz cut. They'll be forming political protests, and they'll be bonking you on the head to shut up, or they'll be wishing it silently. So talk too long, you lose your audience. Do respect their time. Why 10 minutes? It's the perfect middle ground. It's long enough to become a memory. It conveys something important properly, and it leaves them wanting more. Applications, team meetings, sales pitches. When you want to start something, you want to propose an idea to a business partner. It's a great format because you can get the gist across to someone, but it's not so long that you're losing their interest. The speaker is focused. Listeners can absorb your message when it's focused and you're focused on delivering it. A 10-minute time constraint forces focus on both the listener and the speaker. Threats. There are no threats. No one's died from a 10-minute presentation. Be brave. Make it fun for you, and your audience will have fun too. This is something not to be scared of. This is like an enjoyable challenge to embrace and have fun with. What makes up a 3-minute talk? 3 things. I was going to make a Zelda pun, but I don't want to try and force it. Triforce, Zelda? Anyone play old school games? All right. So the Triforce of these talks is an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. And ignore that space in the middle. Despite being part of the image, it's not actually part of this image that I care about. So that middle square doesn't count. It's 3 orange triangles. What makes up a 10-minute talk? It's 3 parts working in harmony. An introduction with about 1 or 2 minutes of time. It has your hook, share surprising facts, tell a story, use a provocative question. Above all, engage your audience and give them a reason to care. The body, 6 or 7 minutes, it's the bulk of your message. Focus on 2 or 3 key points or ideas. Here's where clarity matters. Keep your points simple and memorable. Use stories, data, or examples to support your points. Conclusion is about a minute or 2. Leave a lasting impression and end strong by summarizing the awesomeness. Examples for the intro. Let me ask you a question. The body, you're going to be doing a lot of explaining. Like, here's how this works. Here's how to do this. And conclusion language is in closing or to sum it all up. That's your language styles, just to tell you which part of the speech you're in. Also, your listener knows if you're wrapping things up, if you're just starting off, if you're expanding, or if you're elaborating. Types of talks, part 4. What time is it? It's business time. This is what you came for. How do you do a 10 talk? Well, you use one of these different types of talks. There's so many, but there's not really that many. Pick one and try to stick to it. You can dip into another for extra points and inspiration, but usually you'll be in one of these or the others. So persuasive talks, the goal is to convince the audience of something. With an informative talk, the goal is to educate the audience. With an entertaining talk, well, the goal is to entertain and engage. With an inspirational talk, the goal is to motivate. No points for guessing. For demonstrative talks, the goal is to instruct, and for ceremonial talks, the goal is to continue a tradition. Serve your goal. Pick what will work best given the audience, message, and presenter. Knowing yourself, how do you engage with people well? How do people like to connect with you? Who are you connecting with? Who's your audience? What's the general situation and what kind of message are you bringing? All that's going to weigh in for what kind of talk you decide to give. And the purpose of your talk usually should be the dictator of the type of talk it is. Persuasive talks, to continue. This is the, oh yes, you will eat your dinner before dessert talk. Persuasive, convince the audience to adopt an idea, belief, or take action. It's like a sales pitch, a call to action. There's something you want to convince them of. You want them to change their mind, or at least be better informed on a different point of view. You want to use logical arguments, appeal to the better angels of their nature, or screw it, use logical fallacies. They are actually great at convincing people. They're just a lot less ethical. Take the easy route if you feel like it. A logical fallacy used in the right way, it'll slide right in and people won't even notice. Be clear about what specific decision is and why it should be made the way you want. So be clear about what decision you're wanting people to make. What are you trying to convince them of? If you're clear as a speaker and you focus on that, your audience will know what you're talking about and they can get on board with why you're saying what you're saying. An example is persuasive men like you don't need examples. See, logical fallacies do work, huh? Types of talk, informative. And that's how we'll replace humans with AI robots. It's informative, got to focus on simplicity. We are the dumb, teaching us slowly, please. One step at a time. Tie it all together at the end, not in the middle. When you start out, give a bird's eye view, get into the specifics, and then at the end, tie it all together. Take your audience through one by one, step by step, if you're doing something informative. Share the key information first, use visual descriptions and visual aids, stick to 2 or 3 main takeaways. It's great for introducing a niche hobby, interest, or concept. If that's the kind of thing you're thinking of bringing to squad, think of an informative talk as a potential template. An entertaining talk. Dance, monkey, dance. Entertaining, you can tell a story and describe your observations about something. It requires a lot of energy and personality, although it doesn't necessarily have to be upbeat energy. You can have like a stoic or like a dry energy and a dry personality, and the humor and the entertainment value can shine through that if you construct it properly. Think of a comedian, storyteller, or court jester. And think of a comedian that you really like and feel you could emulate if that's the kind of way you want to go. You think of it as something that's going to engage the audience. You're leading them on a journey with surprise after surprise. That's what stories are. That's why we want them. And amusement, above all, is going to be the key for an entertaining talk. The whole purpose is to just amuse and entertain people for 10 minutes. And if you want to take on that challenge, Consider holding up a mirror to the squad and describing each of us as who we are to you. Think of like a sketch comedy routine or dramatic storytelling of a story that you like, or even a story we all know, and put your own spin on it. Types of talks: inspirational, Rudy, 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 for those that like their sports movies. They're inspirational, move people emotionally and mentally. Make it personal, share your journey or share someone else's. People connect to the emotions in others. That's what this whole squad is about. The story involves resilience, growth, or triumph, and the inspiration itself comes from that moment where looming defeat swings toward victory. That's like the key moment in those kind of stories. So build up to that and then ride that to victory in your conclusion. An example: sports movies, Hallmark movies. Please don't make me look up any. David and Goliath type stories. Those like impossible enemy to defeat, but somehow they defeat them. That's all going to fall into the inspirational category. Demonstrative. This is the way. That's what these ones are. The key with these ones is show, don't tell. It's great for hands-on tasks. And if 5 seconds of watching something replaces an hour of explaining, demonstrate. You all know and do cool stuff we don't. Just show us, include us in it, and it'll be a great TED Talk. Show off, but in a competent way that includes us in the success. Make us feel like we were part of making it go well. Like Bob Ross in his painting. We never did a thing, but he made us feel like we were involved in the magic on the canvas. Like, even though we'll never be anywhere near your mastery, leave us feeling like we could be if we just did enough. For examples like changing a tire, baking a cake, stringing a guitar. Be sure you can fill 10 minutes without running too short or too long. So keep in mind you're giving like a 10-minute briefing on how this works, what it's about, what the basics are. We're not going to be masters at it, but we're going to have a better view of it than we did going in. Our final type is ceremonial. It's about, this is how we've always done it, and now it's my turn to keep it going. For something ceremonial, remember that many have gone before you and many will go after. There's a larger purpose to your talk. Above all, respect it. You are an instrument to the moment to continue tradition here. Usually more conservative, and there's less room for nonsense. Practice, especially if it's emotionally intense, with grief, love, sadness, joy. Err strongly on the side of caution, and remember that you are not the center of attention in a ceremonial talk. The center of attention has its eye on you for a moment, and it's time to serve that moment. Think like graduation speeches, wedding speeches, funerals, opening, closing ceremonies of events, year-end celebrations, family holidays. This is where we may be called to talk and speak, but it's not about us. It's more about everybody else around us. 5, make it memorable. Like these movie scenes. You guys have all seen these movies, and you know these movies as soon as you see the scene, even if you haven't seen the movie, because they're just that memorable. These are extra ideas, and use them where you can fit them in. Be concise. Clarity is the key. It's easy to be memorable if you've been clear. Keep it tight. Rambling will lose your audience. If you can't explain it in 10 minutes, consider choosing something different. Use stories. Pretty straightforward. It's powerful. It resonates with audiences. Personal anecdotes, famous references, memes. It deepens the connection between the message and the audience. Repeat your main point. To drive your message home, repeat it at least once. 10 talks are awesome and fun. See what I did there? I did threaten dad humor. Practice. It's something you've probably talked about a lot already. You'll probably speak faster in the moment than in practice. With practice comes smoother delivery. Part 6, delivery tips. Mandatory just the tip means. Giggity. Delivery tips. Hold the food until they pay. No freebies. No, sorry, that's the wrong talk. Energy, right. The audience will match your energy. For good or bad, you will be energetically infectious. Think of a celebrity who matches your energy and the energy you're going for, and try to emulate it while making it your own. Tone, speak deliberately. Vary your speed, tone, and intensity. Enunciate clearly. Put the emphasis on the right syllable, not the emphasis on the right syllable. Speaking is important for these things. Know what talking too slow and too fast is, and maintain distance from both. Stay near the middle, but do vary and wander. Pauses. Pauses create emphasis and allow your audience time to absorb your glorious message. And you also get a moment to recompose and stay present. Engage with humor, eye contact, and rhetorical questions. It's crucial for engagement. They'll feel like part of the conversation, and they'll pay more attention and are likely to remember. 7, close with power. Unlimited power. And this is too much power for one person. I'm trusting you guys here with my squad for 10 uninterrupted minutes. I'm going to trust that you can all handle it. Just don't let it go to your head. No going dark side on me. Always close with power. Always drop the mic. Except at funerals, doesn't go well. Recap. Clarity is key. It's easy to be memorable if you've been clear. Keep it tight, because rambling will overwhelm your audience. If you can't explain it in 10 minutes, choose something different. Use stories. They're powerful for sticking messages. They resonate with the audience and they make points memorable. Personal anecdotes, famous references, memes. It deepens the connection between the message and the audience. Repeat your main point. Drive your message home. Repeat it at least once. 10 talks are awesome and fun. Hey, I'll say it till you guys believe it. Practice. It's something you've probably talked about a lot. With that practice comes smooth delivery. And that's necessary for closing. Questions? Stupid questions everywhere. No, the only stupid question is the one you already know the answer to and ask anyway. So I'm going to let you guys start to ask some questions.
How long was that?
I'm not sure because I did the double start. I think it was solidly over though.
Yeah. I think with the double start, it was closer to 14.
Yeah. Felt like about 12. And just to finish the slides, you're welcome. Greatest production company, not a real company. And mic drop, except at funerals.